In this video, we will learn about human heart, the pumping machine. Heart is a muscular pumping organ of size of a fist. It is situated almost in the middle of chest between the two lungs. Its lower conical end is tilted to the left. It is enclosed in a bony cage formed of chest wall, ribs, backbone and breastbone. Let's understand about pericardium. Heart is enclosed in a sac called pericardium formed of two pericardial membranes. The pericardial fluid present between the two pericardial membranes protect the heart from injury and friction. It also keeps the heart moist. Here we have the external structure of heart. This is what a heart looks like, and here we can observe that it has a conical end which is tilted towards the left. Let's understand about heart chambers. Human heart is four-chambered. It consists of two auricles and two ventricles. Consider this to be human heart. So it has right atrium, right ventricle. It has left atrium and left ventricle. So these are the four chambers. Two are auricles and two are ventricles. The auricles are demarcated from ventricles by an irregular groove, the coronary sulcus. Let's talk about auricles or atria. Singular atrium, it is the receiving chamber. The two thin-walled auricles are separated by thin interauricular septum. So here we have the interauricular septum that is going to separate right auricle from left auricle. The right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from the body by two large vessels, that is vena cava. The left auricle receives oxygenated blood from lungs by two pairs of pulmonary veins. So this side, that is the right side, will consist of deoxygenated blood, and this side, that is left side, will consist of oxygenated blood. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the body by the help of two vena cava, and the left atrium receives oxygenated blood by two pairs of pulmonary veins. Now let's talk about ventricles, the distributing chambers. The two thick-walled ventricles are separated by thick and oblique interventricular septum. So if this is right ventricle and this is left ventricle, this is going to be the interventricular septum. The left ventricle is larger and its wall are thicker than right ventricle. The right ventricle supplies deoxygenated blood to lungs through pulmonary aorta. So here we will have pulmonary aorta which will supply deoxygenated blood to lungs. Then we have left ventricle which supplies oxygenated blood to entire body by single aorta. So here we'll have aorta which will supply the oxygenated blood to entire body. Here we have the internal structure of heart. This is right atrium, this is right ventricle, this is left atrium and this is left ventricle. Here we have superior vena cava and inferior vena cava which will bring deoxygenated blood from the body to the right atrium. This blood will then move to right ventricle from right atrium, and from right ventricle it will move through pulmonary artery and it will reach lungs. In lungs it will become oxygenated and it will come back from pulmonary vein to the left atrium, and from the left atrium it will move to left ventricle, and then through aorta it will go to entire body. Now let's understand about apertures and valves in heart chamber. First is cuspid valves. Each atrium opens into ventricle of its side by atrioventricular aperture. An atrioventricular aperture is guarded by cuspid valve. A bicuspid valve guards the left atrioventricular aperture and allows blood to flow from left atrium to left ventricle. The bicuspid valve is also known as mitral valve. A tricuspid valve guards the right atrioventricular aperture and allows blood from right atrium to right ventricle. Next we have semilunar valves. These are half moon shaped or pocket shaped flaps. Three semilunar pulmonary valves guard the opening of right ventricle into the pulmonary aorta to prevent backflow of blood into the ventricle. Three semilunar aortic valve guard opening of left ventricle into aorta. Here we can observe the valves. So this is the tricuspid valve present between right atrium and right ventricle, and this is the bicuspid valve also known as mitral valve present between left atrium and left ventricle. We also have semilunar valves. So this is the pulmonary valve and this is the aortic valve. Both of these are the semilunar valves. Now let's talk about blood vessels bringing blood to heart. The right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from the body except lungs through first superior or anterior vena cava or precave receives blood from head and upper region of the body, that is chest and arms. Second, inferior or posterior vena cava or post cave receives blood to right auricle from rest parts of the body, that is from abdomen and legs. The left auricle receives oxygenated blood from lungs via four pulmonary veins. So these were the blood vessels which are bringing blood to the heart. Now let's talk about blood vessels leaving the heart. Pulmonary trunk. It arises from right ventricle and carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation. Its opening in the right ventricle is guarded by three semilunar pulmonary valves. Next is aorta or aortic arch. It is the largest blood vessel that arises from left ventricle and supplies oxygenated blood to the whole body except lungs. Its opening in the left ventricle is guarded by three semilunar aortic valves. Here we can observe the blood vessels bringing blood to the heart. So we have superior vena cava, inferior vena cava and pulmonary vein that are bringing blood to the heart. We can also observe the blood vessels leaving the heart. So here we have pulmonary artery and aorta which are taking blood away from the heart. I hope this topic is clear to you. Thank you.